Welcome out, everyone, again to Sports Talk Mania. I'm your host, Lee Haygood. For this Monday show, welcome in and welcome, and thank you for tuning in to Sports Talk Mania. This is Monday, June the 23rd, 2014. We're here to talk sports with you. We're going to talk sports for 1 hour. We're here from 6 to 7 p.m. each and every Monday afternoon here live on Mustangs TV. That's Sports Talk Mania with Lee Haygood. What's happening in the world in sports? Again, hello everyone. Glad you're tuning in. We appreciate you tuning in each and every Monday here live on Sports Talk Mania. Welcome out. I want to thank our sponsors. Sponsors are Tennessee National Raceway, just outside of Hohenwald, Tennessee. If you like Saturday night dirt track racing, head on up to Tennessee National Raceway, 316 Racetrack Road, Hohenwald, Tennessee. Again, just outside of Hohenwald. Check them out, folks, each and every Saturday night during the racing season. Again, welcome in. I'm Lee Haygood. We're going to talk sports for the next hour. We're here each Monday from 6 to 7 p.m., as I said. What are we talking about? What's the big thing in the world of sports right now? We've got World Cup action going on in soccer. Whether you like soccer or not, and I've seen several people posting online things about soccer, they don't even watch soccer. You know, soccer is just one of those things that they just don't watch. And I've actually seen a picture of somebody on the internet sitting and watching a wall that they had just painted, watching the paint dry. Well, you know what? It's World Cup. That means the United States is in the World Cup. And after what I consider and most people consider an upset yesterday, it wasn't that big of an upset after all, because the USA had to win more or less till the closing seconds of the match when they let Portugal come in and score a goal, which made it tied 2-2, so they've got credited with a draw. Well, a draw is okay in this situation simply because the U.S. can still advance on and a chance to win the World Cup. But they got to do something with Germany. They if they win, they're in, no matter what. If they beat Germany in their upcoming match, they're automatically in the playoff, so to speak, of the World Cup. And if they don't win, if they draw with Germany, well, then they're in as well with that one. And the thing about it is a lot of things in the World Cup. And if you don't know about the World Cup, as far as the playoffs go in the World Cup, when it comes down to the World Cup, they don't go by more or less wins and losses. That's just like Ghana, who USA defeated in their first match. Ghana can still go in front of the U.S. just pending points. It's not a win-lose thing. It's more of a goal thing. So how many goals is scored throughout the World Cup is what they fought. That's like their second tiebreaker. And that comes before your actual wins and losses. So it doesn't matter if you won or lost. It's how many goals you got when it comes down to, deciding factor of who's going and who's not going. Like I said, U.S. and Portugal played to a 2-2 tie. And that means if the U.S. beats Germany, no matter what, they're in. If the U.S. has a draw with Germany, they're also in. Outside of that, we got other scenarios. If a loss they can still lose to Germany. And the Portugal and the Ghana, if they have at least a draw, well, then the U.S. advances in that particular way. And then a loss and win tiebreaker versus Portugal-Ghana winner. So that's when you're going to fall back to the points or the goals deal there. So the U.S. can still get in even if they get beat by Germany. But, hey, I say let's just beat Germany and move on into the next round of the World Cup. That's what we need to do. Also in the world of sports, in the women's U.S. Open, Michelle Wie won her first ever major at Pennhurst, North Carolina, and she beat out Stacey Lewis. And whether you like golf or not, I'm telling you what, that young lady, she's been a star like 13 years of age. When she first come on the scene in USGA. the ladies golf USGA. When she first come on the scene, she's like 13 years old, and she has done nothing but tear up the courses, but she's never won a major. A great story like her, and she's never won a major. However, you can't say that anymore, as she did finally win her first major in the Women's U.S. Open at Pennhurst, North Carolina, beating out Stacey Lewis yesterday in the final round of the Women's U.S. Open. Also, other things happening yesterday. Had the World of NASCAR, World of Motorsports. Had Carl Edwards. They traveled all the way out to the West Coast to Sonoma, California, run under around the wine vineyards and all that. They went all the way out there. Carl Edwards takes the win at the road course out in Sonoma, California, beating out Jeff Gordon. Jeff Gordon made a surge right there on the last lap, almost pulled it off there going into the last turn, which is a hairpin turn, but could not get it done. Again, Carl Edwards coming out victorious in the world of NASCAR yesterday. A lot of things going on in the world of sports. We'll be glad to talk to you about it here on Sports Talk Mania. Again, we're here till the hour of 7 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. Phone lines are open. You can give us a call at 931-623-6090. We'll be glad to discuss and talk anything sports related. Give us a call. Phone lines are open. 931-623-6090 is our line here at the studio. If you'd like to, give me a call. We're going to get a word in from one of our great sponsors, and we'll be back right after this. The Tennessee National Raceway, where dirt track racing is at its best. That's the Tennessee National Raceway, 316 Racetrack Road, Hohenwald, Tennessee. Come out each and every Saturday night during racing season, ladies and gentlemen, and see some of the best dirt track racing anywhere around this area. That's the Tennessee National Raceway, 316 Racetrack Road, Hohenwald, Tennessee.
Hey, y'all. Thank y'all for listening to my brother Lee on Sports Talk Mania with Lee Haygood. Be sure to also tune in on Thursday nights at 7 o'clock for the Big Fred Show. Me and Lee and Mustangs TV, we the Total Bro Network, baby. Tune in and listen to us.
Back here live on Sports Talk Mania. Again, I'm your host, Lee Haygood. Be glad to talk to you anything about sports. Phone lines are open, so give us a call at 931-623-6090, and we're going to talk some sports this Monday afternoon, kind of get everybody up and ready to go for the remainder of the week. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, you got Monday over with. Let's relax just a little bit. Let's talk a little bit of sports to get our week even started off even better. Talk a little bit of sports that always gets most people going into the right direction for the work week anyway. Still got a few days left in this week, but we'll get it through it, because now that we've got a little bit of sports talk and we can talk some sports on Monday afternoons, we are here for that reason. Give us a phone call at 931-623-6090, and we're going to talk a little bit of sports. Other things going on around. I see where Mexico has made it through their round. They got 3 goals in 10 minutes. And if soccer is one of those things that if you can get 3 goals in 10 minutes, you either doing something real well or the defense is not playing that well on the other side of the ball. But it says Mexico gets through 3 goals in 10 minutes. Other things going on. NBA, I know the NBA Finals is over with and complete, but now you got all this talk about free agency. Where is Carmelo Anthony going? Where is LeBron James going? And hearing things that LeBron's wife actually posted something on the internet, a home in Ohio where they live during the off season anyway. She posted and said the time is counting. Okay, it's my understanding that she's expecting a child. So is she talking about the time is counting down on having the child, or is she talking about the time is counting down for LeBron James to make his return to the Cleveland Cavaliers, which is where he started and where he left in not so good of terms, but I'm sure the Cleveland Cavalier fan would love to have him back in Cleveland, fighting for them and their Cavaliers. Other things going on in sports, Carmelo, of course, I mentioned him earlier. He opted out of his contract, or his renegotiations. He opted out of them. So it does not look like Carmelo Anthony is going to stay in New York much longer, or he's actually just trying to, get a few things going on to figure out what's going on. So we'll see what happens in the world of Carmelo Anthony and the NBA as they're coming up. Again, Carmelo Anthony officially opted out of the final year of his contract with the Knicks. And he's going to test that free agency market. But, ladies and gentlemen, most of the time when you're testing that free agency market, you're wanting more money. But, hey, who knows? With Carmelo, he's done got plenty of money, I think. So he may just be out there looking for a place to go and maybe win that championship that's eluded him all this time. And when they put together the big three down in Miami, that was all the talks is, okay, let's take a little bit of hit in our pocketbook here, and let's get three of us together that can make a run at this NBA championship, NBA title. And that's what they've done. And unfortunately for them, they challenged the San Antonio Spurs earlier on, and San Antonio walks out of there with the NBA championship. But again, one of the best teams that's been in the NBA in the Miami Heat these years, and they've backed it up. I mean, they've won a couple of championships since all three of them got together, so they've backed it up pretty much themselves. Give us a phone call at 931-623-6090, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be glad to talk to you about sports or any other topics that you might have around. We're going to talk to you in the world, and I'm not talking just Lawrence County, Loretta. We're going to talk all Lawrence County. We're going to talk all the state of Tennessee. We're going to talk all the United States. As I mentioned, we're big getting behind our United States soccer team and trying to go for that World Cup. Again, we'll talk about anything you'd like to talk about. Give me a phone call, 931-623-6090, and phone lines will be open. We'll be right back.
Yo, this is Big Fred. Tune in Thursday night. Big Fred Show. You never know what we're going to talk about. Never know where we're going to be. We'll be everywhere, because that's where we like to be, is everywhere. Tune in Thursday night, 7 o'clock. The Big Fred Show. Also, check out Lee Haygood's show, Sports Talk Mania. He's an encyclopedia, and if he don't know it, it ain't true. So there you go, y'all. Big Fred Show, Sports Talk Mania. Tune in.
The Tennessee National Raceway, where dirt track racing is at its best. That's the Tennessee National Raceway, 316 Racetrack Road, Hohenwald, Tennessee. Come out each and every Saturday night during racing season, ladies and gentlemen, and see some of the best dirt track racing anywhere around this area. That's the Tennessee National Raceway, 316 Racetrack Road, Hohenwald, Tennessee. Back here live, Sports Talk Mania again. Phone lines are open. Give us a call. We know you out there listening. You want to talk sports? Give me a call. 931-623-6090. Phone lines are open, and let's talk a little bit of sports. Actually, we can talk a lot of sports. We got several minutes left in the night show. We're going to talk any and all sports you'd like to talk. Mentioned last week, we're going to discuss tonight, June the 23rd, why the University of Alabama Crimson Tide will not make it into the 14 playoff that the NCAA has come out with for their first time ever in Division I football. And again, this is my opinion, but I'm going to tell you, I know a little bit about football, and I know a lot about an opinion, because I'm going to give you one right here. The Alabama Crimson Tide will not make the first ever NCAA Division I 14 playoff this year. Why do you say that, you might ask? Well, I tell you what. I said to myself, self. What do you think Alabama's going to do? They're that good a team. Will they make it to the playoffs? So the first thing I did was I sat down and I check out their schedule. Well, looking at over their schedule, they've got West Virginia, Florida Atlantic, Southern Miss, Florida. Then they got an open week. Then they come back with Ole Miss. Then they got Arkansas. They got Texas A&M. They got the University of Tennessee Volunteers at Knoxville, by the way. Then they've got an open week following that before they play LSU, which is one of their big nemesis in the last few years. And then they have Mississippi State, then Western Carolina, and then to finish out the season, of course, the Iron Bowl, they've got the Auburn Tigers. War Eagle, says the Tigers. All right, with that being said, here's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at a win against West Virginia, and that's going to be a tough game, I do believe. A little tougher than what most analysts and everyone else thinks. Then you got Florida Atlantic. I think that's an easy one. Southern Miss, they're going to give them a little fight early, but Southern Miss doesn't have the depth that Alabama has. So I think Southern Miss going to fall to the wayside a little bit after, first quarter, second quarter maybe. I think they're going to give them a game at first, but I think Alabama pulls that one out pretty easily. Then Florida. I think they're going to beat Florida pretty handily because I just don't see Florida having enough this year to take on the Alabama Crimson Tide. Then they got that open week before they play Ole Miss. Ole Miss is going to be the one that I think is going to shock the Crimson Tide fans. I think Ole Miss is going to take a win from Alabama. And the reason I say that is Alabama has lost a lot this season. They lost a lot of players that went to the NFL draft. Most importantly, a 3-year starting quarterback in A.J. McCarron. When McCarron's left, of course, he finished out his career at Alabama, and now he's in the NFL. But you got a 3-year starting quarterback, and you've got to fall back on someone like a Blake Sims or someone like that. Of course, Blake now is going to step in. I think personally he's probably going to be the starting quarterback come the starting of the season. And I'm not sure how long he'll stay in there. He's worked well under A.J. McCarron's and studied under him, learned just about everything he could. Of course, they had another young man that actually just transferred that I thought was going to take over the starting position, but he transferred out of Alabama. So now you got Sims and a strong-armed quarterback, one that just about every college team in the United States was following, and that's the Cornwell kid. 6'5", I think he's 6'5", and just an all-around great athlete with a great arm. And, Alabama reeled him in. So, that's one of those things. But I think at first, considering Cornwell being, just fresh and not really hitting the playbook, not having that much time with the playbook, I think it's going to be a Sims-Bateman. Bateman is there as well. I think it's going to be a Sims-Bateman contest going into the game one. I think Sims is going to take game one and game two, and if he keeps playing good, and we wish, no bad play upon any of these young athletes, student athletes, but if he keeps playing good, then he'll stay in there probably, but I think somewhere along the line, Cornwell's going to come in there with that strong arm, and he's going to end up making a move to maybe be the starting quarterback for the University of Alabama. With that said, again, I think by the Ole Miss game, which is their 5th ball game in the season, I think they're going to be a little bit undecided at that time. I think Ole Miss is going to surprise the University of Alabama fans, and they're going to take the win. And then I think the Arkansas game follows that one. I think Alabama can beat Arkansas. The A&M game, since you ain't got Johnny Football at Texas A&M any longer, I don't think that's even going to be a contest. I think Alabama wins that one. And as bad as I hate to say it, I think the University of Alabama takes a win over the University of Tennessee Volunteers. Then they got an open week before big LSU. Well, LSU, I think, has lost as much, if not more, than what Alabama lost during this offseason due to graduation and people leaving early for the NFL and that. So I think Alabama pulls out, I'm going to say probably a 7-point win against LSU later on in the season. Then we got Mississippi State Bulldogs. I think that's going to be another challenging contest for the University of Alabama. Coming off a big game against LSU, you know they're going to be up for that one. Coming off of that, back-to-back weeks against Mississippi State. I think Mississippi State makes it a real close ball game. Unlike a lot of people thinking, I think Mississippi State makes that a real close ball game. However, I think Alabama pulls out the win. Then they have Western Carolina. I think that's pretty much an easy win. Western Carolina may hold with them for 3 or 4 minutes of the first quarter, and after that, I think the depth falls off. Alabama takes over and goes on with that one. And then we've got the Iron Bowl at the end of the season. Okay, if Alabama makes it that far, and they're at 10-1, or I'm going to say I'm wrong, and they go 11-0 into that point. Either way, I think this cost them the championship because when they play Auburn, I see Auburn taking the win. I just don't see how Alabama's going to beat Auburn. Gus Malzahn, probably one of the smartest, best coaches in college football. And I say that knowing Nick Saban is down in Alabama, and I'll say this until the end of time probably. I think Nick Saban's probably one of the top 3 coaches in college football that I've ever seen. Didn't have that good of a stand in NFL. However, I believe going in as far as college football is concerned, I think Nick Saban, one of the best college football coaches, one of the 3 best. I got to put him in there. I mean, I've seen several of them. Joe Paterno was one of the better coaches. But I'm going to put Nick Saban even in front of him. He's going to be in the top 3, I think, in anyone's discussion. However, we got Gus Malzahn, still kind of unproven down in Auburn. Still kind of unproven as a War Eagle. But we're going to find out this coming season how proven he is. He's proven that he can beat Alabama. Yes, I know it was one of those freak plays at the end that Auburn run back a field goal attempt all the way back to take the win this past season in the Iron Bowl. I know it was one of those issues, but guess what? They had to play good enough to be at that point at the end of that ball game. And they did. Gus Malzahn, I think, and I've talked to several people about this, I think that a lot of people are just overwhelmed with Nick Saban. He is that good of a coach. I think that they feel like they're going to lose a lot of times, even though they won't tell you that. They just look like it as far as the way they conduct themselves through the week, practice, come out game time. You can tell if a team's up or if a team is not. And I think, with that being said, I think that Gus Malzahn probably takes another win. Like I say, if Alabama can get to Auburn with 11-0 record, which I don't think they will, I think it'll be 10-1 at that point. When they get to Auburn with that record, either 10-1 or 11-0, guess what? I think Auburn beats them. I think it puts them down there in about 5th, 6th ranked as far as college football is concerned, especially if they've got that one loss already against them. They're going to already be down there around 5th or 6th anyway. They're going to be bumped down to 8th, 9th, 10th possibly in the nation. So that is my prediction of why the University of Alabama Crimson Tide will not make it into the first ever NCAA Division I 4-team playoff. We got a lot of people out here I know listening that's got a lot of football knowledge. If you agree with me, disagree with me, you can give me a call at 931-623-6090. Phone lines are open. We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back right after this.
Hey, y'all. Thank y'all for listening to my brother Lee on Sports Talk Mania with Lee Haygood. Be sure to also tune in on Thursday nights at 7 o'clock for the Big Fred Show. Me and Lee and Mustangs TV, we the Total Bro Network, baby. Tune in and listen to us.
Back here live, Sports Talk Mania. Again, I'm your host, Lee Haygood, carrying you through this Monday afternoon from the hours of 6 to 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Got all kind of folks out there listening and tuned in. Give us a call at 931-623-6090. Be glad to take a phone call. Talk to you. We'll talk sports. Football, basketball, baseball. We'll talk soccer. Not a big soccer fan, but I'm going to tell you what. Again, I follow this World Cup just as well as just about anyone else does. And hoping that the United States of America soccer team can make it into that next round, the so-called playoffs of the World Cup. If, again, the scenarios are there, folks. If we win, we're in no matter what. If we can just come to a draw with Germany, who's pretty much taken this side of the bracket and, walk through it more or less. If we can just hold them with a draw or only lose by maybe 1 to them so the goals are not there, like a 2-1, or it doesn't matter as long as we can just lose by 1, we've got a great shot, because then it's going to go to the Portugal-Ghana game, and we're going to see what happens there as far as the points tiebreaker, because, again, even if the United States loses, they've got 2 chances, because Portugal and Ghana go to a draw, they automatically make it in. And, again, if they lose and the tiebreaker comes down to the goals actually scored within the World Cup, then it's going to go to that point of it. And right now we've probably got the lead. We've got a route pretty much for Portugal, because Ghana is going to be the one that's probably going to challenge us more than anything as far as the points go. So if Portugal wins, we've probably, even if we lose against Germany, but I'm going to say the United States team takes that one from Germany as well. Again, ladies and gentlemen, phone lines are open, 931-623-6090. Give us a call. We know you're out there. We know you're listening. We know you want to talk a little bit of sports. Give us a call. We're going to talk sports. We've got at least over a half hour to go. We're going to talk all kind of sports. Give me a phone call. Talking about, we'll talk about a lot of world sports or United States sports. We're going to talk a little, if you want to call in, we're going to talk some youth sports. I tell you what, one of my best calls was somebody just called in and gave me a little bit of knowledge one day, just in general about student athletes and what they need to do for, upcoming college if they want to, make their career continue past their high school days. Great call that day. We can talk like that because that's what we're here for, ladies and gentlemen. We're trying to give a lot of information out, trying to break that work week up. It's Monday. Everybody, or most people, went back to work today for the first day of the week, trying to break the monotony up, give us a better day to, better evening to start the rest of the week, get it over with, and then comes the weekends where we can sit and watch some sports or go play some sports or whatever you choose to do. So that's the reason we're here. Again, we got the Big Fred Show on Thursday nights. If you have not tuned in to the Big Fred Show, like he says in his promo, you got to tune in, because you never know what you're going to be talking about on the Big Fred Show. Big Fred will talk about anything and everything, and his show's kind of a little bit different, mine. He's going to be on the screen. You're going to be able to see him. He's going to be holding his microphone. He's going to be getting up, talking to other people, which is great. We're trying to give everybody a little bit of both worlds here on Mustangs TV, and all these different things that we're throwing in. We're trying all this stuff. We're trying our best to do it. Support our sponsors. When you hear us, our sponsors, at least, if you're around our sponsors, let them know that you appreciate them supporting Mustang TV and shows like Sports Talk Mania and the Big Fred Show. Big Fred Show comes on Thursday nights. I believe his show starts at 7 p.m. each and every Thursday. And man, they liable to go anywhere. He had his first show down here at Philly Wigs, a new joint here in Loretta that you can get some great food at, and we appreciate the folks at Philly Wigs allowing Big Fred to come in as I joined them there that night as well. Then I think last show was down at Brimstone's down in Sheffield, or I think it's Sheffield or Tuscumbia, Alabama, one of those areas down there. Big thanks going out to Steve and Brimstone's down there for allowing the Big Fred Show to come in. If you haven't had a chance, folks, get online and let's watch the Big Fred Show on Thursday evenings. Again, we welcome you each and every Monday evening from 6 to 7 p.m. here to Sports Talk Mania, where we're going to talk sports, try to make the week a little bit better for you, because a lot of people, you start talking a little bit of sports, you kind of forget a few other worries that you might have going on in your life. And again, we hope everyone's having a great day. We wish everyone the best right here from Sports Talk Mania Mustangs TV. We're going to take a little bit of break, and we'll be right back.
Yo, this is Big Fred. Tune in Thursday night. Big Fred Show. You never know what we're going to talk about. Never know where we're going to be. we'll be everywhere. Because that's where we like to be, is everywhere. Tune in Thursday nights, 7 o'clock. The Big Fred Show. Also, check out Lee Haygood's show, Sports Talk Mania. He's an encyclopedia. And if he don't know it, it ain't true. So there you go, y'all. Big Fred Show, Sports Talk Mania. Tune in.
Back here live, Sports Talk Mania. Phone lines are open, 623-6090. That's area code 931-623-6090. Give us a call. Let's talk a little bit of sports. We'll talk baseball, basketball, football, hockey, soccer. It doesn't matter. Give us a call. And like Big Fred said, I'm not an encyclopedia of information, but I'm going to tell you what. We're going to talk about it, and I'm going to give you an opinion on it. Whether I know about it or not, we're going to talk truth, and we're going to give you an honest opinion. And I'm going to tell you, hey, just like I said in the Alabama, I'm a huge Tennessee Volunteer fan. However, I am a realistic Tennessee Volunteer fan. That's the reason I said, as far as my predictions go, and we're going to start having these each and every week. I've started out going in alphabetical order. We're going to continue to go in alphabetical order, and I'm going to try to, by the beginning of college football season, we're going to go through every SEC team, and I'm going to let you know what I think is going to happen as far as SEC football is concerned. Alabama just happened to be the AL that's at the top of the list as far as alphabetical. And we're going to try to get Arkansas on next Monday. So if you want to hear my predictions of what Arkansas, if you're a Razorback fan and you want to tune in next Monday, be more than glad to have you on Sports Talk Mania. That's 6 to 7 p.m. Central Standard Time each and every Monday. Next Monday, it's Arkansas. We're going to figure out what Arkansas is going to do in this upcoming season, at least in the eyes of Lee Haygood. Again, I'm your host here on Sports Talk Mania. We've got several minutes left to go. Phone lines are open. We're going to talk any sports you'd like to talk. 931-623-6090. Give us a phone call and let us know what you think is going on. Hey, if you disagree with me, we can discuss that as well. I know I'm not going to be perfect. I wished I was, but I know I'm not going to be. So if you've got a disagreement with me on this Alabama prediction that I'm saying, hey, that's what we're here for. I know you out there listening. If you want to discuss it, let's discuss it. But we will discuss it. We're going to keep everything in a calm, cool demeanor. Again, I'm here mainly for you guys so we can actually discuss some sports, get a little bit of stress out of our system, talk sports on Monday afternoon after a first day of the week for work. We're going to talk a little bit of sports. Get it out of our system. We're going to talk about it. 931-623-6090. Give me a phone call. Talking about our sponsors again, big thank you to Tennessee National Raceway outside of Hohenwald, Tennessee. Each and every Saturday night during the racing season, head out. You can check them out at racetn.com. That's www.racetn.com, and they'll have their schedule and everything going on. They had an off week this past week as far as the four-wheel racing. They had two-wheel racing. They had some motocross going on this past Saturday night, but they get back to regular racing this Saturday night at the Tennessee National Raceway. Stick it in your GPS at 316 Racetrack Road, Hohenwald, Tennessee. That'll get you right there to the track, and I'm sure those folks at Tennessee National Raceway be glad to have you out. And if you have not had one of their racetrack hamburgers, oh my goodness, you got to check it out. It's one of the best hamburgers that you will eat, period, especially anywhere around the world of motorsports. Just check them out. Tennessee National Raceway, just outside of Hohenwald, Tennessee. Got a lot of basketball. You know, the basketball is going on. The big thing in basketball is, where's everybody going to go? Well, you know what? Nobody really knows that at this time. The free agency market is going rampant right now because of all the Carmelo Anthony talks, the LeBron James talks. What's D Wade going to do down in Miami? Is Chris Bosh looking to go somewhere else? A lot of things going on in the world of basketball. How about baseball? We got baseball going on. And unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, if you are an Atlanta Braves baseball fan, things aren't going too well for you right now as an Atlanta Braves baseball fan. They're not having the best of seasons, even though they started out great. And we had a caller, one of our shows in the past, that he was wanting to talk a little bit of Braves baseball. We did talk Braves baseball, and he and I both, was thinking some of these pitchers that the Braves have picked up during the off season was great assets to the Atlanta Braves baseball squad, and unfortunately, it's not turning out that they're that good of assets at this point in time again. But we're going to see what Freddie Gonzalez can get his Atlanta Braves to come back. It all matters how you're playing later on in the season, as long as you can stay up there close to the top. And as far as the NL East, where the Braves are, they're still up there at the top. So they're game here, game there. They're half a game, but they're staying pretty close to the top. As for today, if you're not watching baseball, we got the Orioles over the White Sox in the top of the second inning by a score of 2-0. The Miami Marlins over the Philadelphia Phillies in the bottom of the first inning by a score of 2-0. The Toronto Blue Jays over the Yankees in the American League by a score of 1-0. Pirates over the Devil Rays in the bottom of the first, 2-0. And then we've got Cincinnati upcoming tonight against the Chicago Cubs. Good friend of mine, big Cincinnati Reds fan. They're going against the Chicago Cubs later on this evening. And the Dodgers taking on the Kansas City Royals. The Nationals taking on the Brewers, and the Cardinals, which I got a friend that's a big St. Louis Cardinal fan. They're taking on the Colorado Rockies later on this evening. That's the baseball. Also, we got the Red Sox and the Mariners, and the Padres and the Giants kicking it off over on the West Coast later on tonight. Be bedtime or past bedtime for me. I won't check those games out, but I promise you I'll be up early in the morning to find out what happened during those games. Anyway, so again, in the NL East, the Braves not having that much of success at this point in time. The Home Run Derby, we're talking about baseball. We got the All-Star game coming up here not too far away, and we got a few things that they're trying to do different in the Home Run Derby. And folks, I'll tell you, I'm one of those people that, don't get me wrong, I like change. Change does not, I think we got to change with the times. I think everyone's got to change with what's going on. But a lot of these sports things, here's where I look at it in the way I'm looking at it. In the world of sports, you're changing these rules. Well, you've got these records that date back to, as long as they was taking records for whatever, the situation is. You've got all these records. Well, when you change these rules, these records are still there, but these records were done under a particular type of rules. Then you change the rule, and it makes it, somewhat easier or somewhat harder to break this record. I think a lot of records are just misrepresented in ways. Don't get me wrong. I think they're great things. I'm glad someone keeps these statistics. I'm glad that people, take care of this stuff. However, I just don't like it when they change rules, especially like the Home Run Derby. The Home Run Derby is in the all-star setting, okay? You're getting all these folks up there that's trying their best to just, they've got their pitcher pitching them, fresh meat, just as hard as they can throw it, and in the right exact spot. And that way these batters can just waylay them and knock them 450, 500 foot, ever what they do. When they're doing that, though, here's my thing about that. Why don't you have a home run derby? And here I go trying to change the rules and just said that I didn't like rules change. But the thing about that is if somebody's pitcher that's pitching to them that night can throw it in there exactly where they need it, they're the ones that usually hit it out because – as well as I know, most of these big-time home run hitters, they can all hit that many home runs. If somebody hit 20 home runs, the other person can hit 20 home runs. It just depends on how the pitch is. And a lot of people don't pay attention to that, but I do. It's just things like that. I try to analyze everything, and that's just the way I look at it. in round one of the Gillette Home Run Derby format this year, 10 participants is going to be the total participants. And their batting order is going to be determined prior to the event, and they're going to draw or do rock, paper, scissors, or whatever. That's neither here nor there. They're going to have 7 outs like they have before, but a lot of times they just have 5 outs. I have seen a home run derby that had 10 outs. So, to me, they keep changing these things, these little things up. However, at the end of it, they're going to say, yeah, so-and-so hit or set a new record. Well, so-and-so had 7 outs versus so-and-so last year having 5 outs. So, things like that I think is very, very misconstrued in several ways. Phone lines are open. I'm blabbing enough. Let's get somebody on the phone line here to talk with me something about sports. 931-623-6090. Give us a phone call. Let's talk some sports, someone. We're going to take a break. When we come back, hopefully we got a caller on the line, and we'll be right back. The Tennessee National Raceway, where dirt track racing is at its best. That's the Tennessee National Raceway, 316 Racetrack Road, Hohenwald, Tennessee. Come out each and every Saturday night during racing season, ladies and gentlemen, and see some of the best dirt track racing anywhere around this area. That's the Tennessee National Raceway, 316 Racetrack Road, Hohenwald, Tennessee.
Hey, y'all. Thank y'all for listening to my brother Lee on Sports Talk Mania with Lee Haygood. Be sure to also tune in on Thursday nights at 7 o'clock for the Big Fred Show. Me and Lee and Mustangs TV, we the Total Bro Network, baby. Tune in and listen to us.
Back here live, Sports Talk Mania. Glad you folks are tuned in. We're ready to talk some sports. Give me a call. Phone lines are open, 931-623-6090. I usually got my producer, KJ, sitting in here with me. KJ not in here with me today, so hopefully I won't cut anyone off. I think I did cut one off a little earlier. I apologize for that. Give me a call back. We're going to try our best not to do that anymore. I don't think I cut them off. I think my phone may have cut them off before I even touched a button. So you can call us back or give us a call at 931-623-6090. We're here to talk sports with you for the next 27 minutes or so. So if you'd like to get in on the call, actually 17 minutes. 17 minutes. My math's a little off here. Again, long, hard Monday. That's the reason we're here on Sports Talk Mania. Let's talk some sports. Break the stress and the monotony of the week up, man. I'm telling you, we can get into it on Monday evenings. We can talk about baseball, basketball, football, hockey, soccer, horse racing. We can talk about it all here on Sports Talk Mania. Why? Because Big Fred said we could. He said we can talk about anything we wanted to as long as it's sports, and he's going to talk about everything else on the Big Fred Show. Again, that's Thursday nights. Folks, check him out. The Big Fred Show, Thursday nights, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Central Standard Time here on Mustang TV. That's the Big Fred Show. What kind of sports you want to talk about? Like I said, give me a phone call. We will talk about it. We're going to see what's going on, and we're still talking World Cup. Whether you're a soccer fan or not, can you believe this many people watch soccer? And I guarantee you, if you took a poll around the United States of America, I'm going to say less than 20% people could actually say they usually sit and watch soccer matches. Well, you know what? And I'm not talking about their kids out there playing soccer, which is a great thing. It's good exercise, good lessons for these youngsters to learn out playing soccer. That's a great thing. I encourage that. Get involved in local sports and all that, and with the parents as well. Act right, but get involved. And outside of that, though, we're talking World Cup soccer. Nobody hardly ever watches any other soccer till World Cup time, especially on TV. And yeah, I know you got your folks that's come from other countries that soccer is just like our football here in the United States of America. However, we don't watch that much soccer. But with that being said, just things that I see and read about each and every day. One that really got me is I don't know how many people do Twitter or send out tweets, but there is over 6 million tweets about the match, just one match in World Cup, and that's unbelievable. And when you're talking about that, you get a lot of people that talk about who they're following, how many followers, so-and-so's got. But when you talk about 6.1 million tweets over one soccer match, wow. And I think it was actually over Cameroon and Brazil. I can't remember. Talking about the World Cup, the Netherlands beat Chile by a score of 2-0. Spain beat Australia. That is the final now by a score of 3-0. Like I said, Mexico scored 3 goals. They beat Croatia by a score of 3-1. And in the final, Brazil takes it over Cameroon by a score of 4-1. That's what's going on in the world of World Cup soccer here this evening. Again, this is Monday, June the 23rd, 2014. We're here on Sports Talk Mania. Give us a phone call. Phone lines are open at 931-623-6090. Give us a phone call. Let's talk a little bit of sports this evening.
Yo, this is Big Fred. Tune in Thursday night. Big Fred Show. You never know what we're going to talk about. Never know where we're going to be. We'll be everywhere. Because that's where we like to be, is everywhere. Tune in Thursday night, 7 o'clock. The Big Fred Show. Also, check out Lee Haygood's show, Sports Talk Mania. He's an encyclopedia. And if he don't know it, it ain't true. So there you go, y'all. Big Fred Show, Sports Talk Mania. Tune in.
Welcome back, everyone. Sports Talk Mania. Again, I'm your host, Lee Haygood. I'll be sitting in here with you each and every Monday from the hours of 6 to 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. We've got all kind of viewers and listeners out there. We know you're out there. Give us a call. Phone lines are open, 931-623-6090. We've got about 13 more minutes left to go in our program, so give us a call and let's start talking a little bit of sports. As just looking through the mailbag here in the world of sports, we've got Steve Spurrier takes a dig at Nick Saban. I'm going to tell you what, when I was talking about Alabama Crimson Tide and Nick Saban a little earlier, I'm going to tell you one coach that I'm sure does not back down to Nick Saban, and that's the old ball coach himself, Steve Spurrier. As most people, especially at Florida, most people didn't like Spurrier. He had that attitude. But you know what? If you're an SEC football coach, you got to have an attitude. That's like a lot of people don't like Saban because of his attitude. Well, guess what? That's the reason Steve Spurrier and Nick Saban are as good as they are. They've got that attitude, but they're so into the business part of it. And something that I meant to actually mention, I had in my notes and just overlooked it at the starting of the show. How about the Vanderbilt Commodores baseball team? The first time that a Vanderbilt squad has a chance to win a national championship in any sports outside of, I think it was the ladies bowling team at one time won the college national championship for the university, or Vanderbilt University. Outside of that, they've never won a national championship in any other college sport. Okay, I knew we at one time had college bowling. Not even sure if they still got college bowling now as far as actual team sports. So congratulations, Vanderbilt Commodores baseball squad, on making it to Oklahoma in that championship series out there. We're wishing you the best of luck here from all of us at Mustangs TV and Sports Talk Mania. Again, ladies and gentlemen, phone lines are open. Give us a call, 931-623-6090. Let's discuss some sports here on Sports Talk Mania. That's what we're here for this Monday evening. Again, tune in each and every Monday here, Sports Talk Mania, and we're going to talk about it. And if I don't know it, I'm going to try to find it out. If I can't find it out, we're going to just give you an opinion of it. Either way, we're going to talk some sports. Let's break up the week. Monday evening here, June the 23rd, 2014. We've got about 10 minutes left. Give me a phone call. Let's talk some sports here on Sports Talk Mania. Again, don't forget the Big Fred show coming up Thursday evening between the hours of 7 and 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. If you have not tuned in to a Big Fred show, you don't know what you're missing. Check it out Thursday evening from 7 to 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. I guarantee you Big Fred going to talk to you. If you want to know anything, just give Big Fred. He'll take an email, he'll take a tweet, he'll take whatever he can do as far as if you send him a question, he's going to do his best to answer it. He's going to give you an opinion. If you just want to talk about something, you just call the Big Fred show or actually send him a text or an email or whatever. And Big Fred will be more than happy to take care of you on that part. Let's go down the world of sports and see what's going on outside of the World Cup. Done talked about how Steve Spurrier and Nick Saban is, I ain't going to say in a squabble. Those two are professionals. They're going to say something every now and then that's going to get just a little bit going on, in the world of sports. So, that's fun. To me, that's the fun stuff. Talking about out at Sonoma, NASCAR racing yesterday, out at Sonoma, California. Dale Earnhardt Jr., and I know he's one of the most liked racers, and I've got no problem with Dale Earnhardt Jr. He's one of the most liked racers in motorsports, but I believe he hit everything on the track yesterday except the pace car. I honestly believe that, and I'm a NASCAR fan to an extent. I used to be I was a lot bigger fan back in the day than I am now. However, I still keep up with it somewhat. And I think the man hit everything on the track yesterday except the pace car. I'm pretty sure he hit the other 42 competitors out on the track. And at the end of it, the folks I was watching it with, I told them, I said, he finished third. Well, if he had knocked the other two out in front of him, guess what? He'd have won. Again, that's just my opinion. I just seen a lot of racing in my lifetime. Seen him seemed like he was hitting everything. Talking about the man that should have probably won the race was Clint Boyer. Of course, that's racing. Racing, there's accidents happening in racing, and Clint Boyer he actually got a flat tire and got spun out because he was going a little slow around one of those hairpin turns there at Sonoma. He was going a little slow, got spun out from the backside, and again, he had a tire going down, so totally understandable. And then he got plowed by Kevin Harvick, who's, I tell you, if you're a NASCAR fan or not, Kevin Harvick is making some waves this year in the world of NASCAR, simply because it's a brand new team that he races for Tony Stewart or Stewart-Haas Racing now. And it's a brand new team, and Harvick has come in. I think he's won like 3 races this season in that number 4 car that he races for Stewart-Haas Racing. So, big day out in Sonoma last week. We got this Sunday coming up. I think they travel to Kentucky for the Bluegrass, the race in the Bluegrass state of Kentucky. Got that coming up Sunday. Got the World Cup. Don't forget, support the United States in the World Cup action. Phone lines are open. You want to talk about any of these things we just went over, give me a phone call at 931-623-6090. We got a few minutes left in the show. We're going to take one last break. When we come back, we're going to finish out this show. So give us a phone call, 931-623-6090. Be glad to talk sports with you on Sports Talk Mania. The Tennessee National Raceway, where dirt track racing is at its best. That's the Tennessee National Raceway, 316 Racetrack Road, Hohenwald, Tennessee. Come out each and every Saturday night during racing season, ladies and gentlemen, and see some of the best dirt track racing anywhere around this area. That's the Tennessee National Raceway, 316 Racetrack Road, Hohenwald, Tennessee.
Yo, this is Big Fred. Tune in Thursday night. Big Fred Show. You never know what we're going to talk about. Never know where we're going to be. We'll be everywhere. because that's where we like to be, is everywhere. Tune in Thursday nights, 7 o'clock. The Big Fred Show. Also, check out Lee Haygood's show, Sports Talk Mania. He's an encyclopedia, and if he don't know it, it ain't true. So there you go, y'all. Big Fred Show, Sports Talk Mania. Tune in.
Back here live, Sports Talk Mania. Give us a call. Phone lines are open. We got a few more minutes left in the night show. Again, tune in to us each and every Monday afternoon from the hours of 6 to 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. We're going to break the monotony of the week up. We're going to talk some sports Monday evenings. Again, that's each and every Monday from 6 to 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. We'll talk local sports. We'll talk world sports as we do in the World Cup right now. Again, stand behind your United States team. Let's cheer them on and let them know that we're standing behind each and every one of them to get through this World Cup and hopefully bring home the World Cup to the United States of America. Phone lines are open, 931-623-6090. Give us a call. Heard a promo from the Tennessee National Raceway. You can check them out again at racetn.com. That's www.racetn.com. You can check them out on the web for the schedule and everything that's coming up. Also, don't forget the Big Fred Show coming up on Thursday night from the hours of 7 to 8 p.m. Each and every Thursday. You never know where Big Fred's going to be. You never know what Big Fred's going to be talking about. So tune in to the Big Fred Show. That's each Thursday evening from the hours of 7 to 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. And again, back here with me each and every Monday evening from the hours of 6 to 7 p.m. Central Standard Time on Sports Talk Mania. Phone lines are open if you'd like to get a quick call in. We've got about 3 minutes left here on Sports Talk Mania. On this Monday evening, give us a call. It's 931-623-6090. Let's talk some sports. You Mustang fans out there, you Wildcat fans, you Eagle fans, hey, that's what we're here for, too. We're here for the county mainly, and we're here for anybody in the state, anybody outside. I've seen some people that's actually tuned in from outside our area. Glad to have you guys aboard as well. If you'd like to talk about something out on the West Coast, some of you that's out there, we'll talk about that as well. I'm going to give you my opinion mostly on those, but hey, we're going to know as much as we can know about sports, and we're going to talk as much as we can talk about sports. Give us a call, 931-623-6090. Got, like I say, about 2 minutes left. We're here. We're waiting on phone calls. Let them come in. If we have to go over a little bit, we'll go over. If you guys want to talk sports, we ain't on no definite period, but we're going to try to end it sometime around the 7 o'clock Central Standard Time frame each and every Monday. With, like I said, about the World Cup, Mexico scoring 3 goals in less than 10 minutes. You want to talk about an accomplishment. Again, don't know how much you guys know about soccer. I know it's probably less than you guys may know. However, I know that it is very hard to score a goal with these goalies that they have in soccer. These guys are so athletic, and if you've ever watched a soccer match, and fortunately, my son actually played some soccer in high school, I got to see some pretty good goalies that they would go up against. And these guys are athletic. When they're out there stretching and they're doing calisthenics, they do some things that I'm like, how can a man's body bend in that shape and in that way? And it hurts me sometimes to see these guys working out. So when you're talking about goalies, and especially scoring 3 goals against one of these goalies of that caliber, I mean, he's made the World Cup teams, from these other countries. So he's got to be good. But when Mexico goes in and scores 3 goals in less than 10 minutes, wow. That was something that just rose my eyebrow. I'm going to spend a little more time, looking into that one and doing just a little bit of research on that, because that to me was just amazing when I seen it. And unfortunately, I seen it right before we aired this evening here on Sports Talk Mania. Ladies and gentlemen, glad you tuned in and joined us this Monday. We urge you to come back each and every Monday here on Sports Talk Mania. Be glad to take phone calls from you. whatever. We're going to talk some sports. We're going to try our best to break up the monotony of the week. But as for today, it looks like this one's over with. We hope everyone has a great week. We hope everyone has a great time watching your sports, and get behind your teams, especially your local teams and your youth, and let's show everybody a little bit of support and a little bit of love here and there. Ladies and gentlemen, again, thanks for tuning in on Sports Talk Mania this Monday evening. I'm your host, Lee Haygood. Till next time, Godspeed.